Hi everybody, Brad Linder here for you on a Sunday evening. Uh, gonna be drawing Gambit today. Gonna be a fun one. Hang out with me because I've got a surprise for you at the end. If you're attending this today, um, gonna add on a little bonus for everybody. You're definitely gonna want to check it out and hang around for that. So, with this said, I'm gonna get started here. Going to adjust my light a little bit so everybody can see what's going on. Hey, Matt. Glad you can make it, man. This character's phenomenal. I get so hooked on this guy, but at the same time, he's a character you love to hate. So I really, really dig that about him. And just the cliche irony of him on his own merit is just hilarious. Been drawing a lot today, so I'm heavy-handed right now. Um, Breaking off the lead. So, just snapping it away. But, yeah, this character is really cool. I've been waiting to do this one for a while. I'm really excited to get to knock it out because he's fun. He is definitely fun. And it being a Sunday and the weather being awkward here, we think we're going to get rain, then we don't. Then we think we're going to get rain, then we don't. It's been one of those days where it's been really, really cool outside and beautiful for a summer day. And then it gets really strange and cloudy, so you never know if you're going to get bombed on or not. So I've been kind of in and out, running some errands this morning with the family, and then this afternoon I got back into it and burnt the midnight oil last night and knocked out a bunch of catch-up cards to get those mailed off, and then realized today was Sunday and couldn't do it. Mail off a bunch of projects and stuff too. But whatever works. And I am doing the classic 90s style. I'm not really going heavy on the whole new black leather combat suit thing that he's got going on. I'm not very familiar with it, for one, and for two is that I just like the fun Gambit. I don't like it when this character gets too deep or too harsh. I mean, unless the story calls for it. But other than that, though, I like to keep him very light because he's an ironic character, like I mentioned. And so many people just like to throw him in the mix and say, okay, this is the guy we want to fight and have on the back, and then they just leave him hanging because it's such a diverse character. But it is what it is. It's the way the character's designed. So a lot of people like to use him as a scapegoat. I know a lot of the 90s writers used to throw him under the bus all the time with whenever they didn't have a villain to gripe at, they made a conflict with Gambit. And if you were a reader of that stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about because it would come up with the Marauders and the underground and all that good stuff, and then Mr. Sinister would pop in and have a big Gambit story where he worked, he brainwashed Gambit and Gambit worked for him for a while, that kind of thing. And it was just strange the way they played all that off. It was really weird. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. But if you were a fan of those stories, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that, you know, this character's been through the ringer a couple of times. So, fortunately for me, he's coming off very quick here. It's very easy to draw. I've drawn this guy a lot, so I even tend to have more of the 90s style aesthetic to him as well, with the slanted eyes, you know, and the sharper bridged nose. I tend to go with that aesthetic because that's just more comfortable for me with this character. I used to love to watch the guys draw him uh, for the animated series. That was one of the best looking Gambits out of the whole series um, of characters. He just always fit perfect with that. And I'm glad he translates into the comic books in that way. But however, like I said, they've got him in a new suit now, a new black suit, and it's not really something I resonate with, but it's okay. They got him as some kind of mutant super spy now. It's a little strange. It's almost like what the New 52 did to Dick Grayson for a while, when they turned him into a government agent kind of deal, and he went all black and threw the suit off and started carrying a pair of six guns. It's, you know, not literally, it was automatic pistols, but still, the metaphor is not lost. And because Sunday is my slowest day for traffic online, with the cards getting watched and things, you guys that make an effort to come out and watch me on Sunday and hang out, I got something special for you today coming up right after this card. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and now that we're live, I'll go ahead and tell you guys and let you know. Tomorrow's card is going to be Professor X. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to do the layout right here live for you guys so you can get a preview of it for tomorrow. Probably not as cool as you guys expected, but, you know, yeah, you'll get a first-hand look at it right now when we're done here with Gambit in a few minutes. So, I'll take an extra 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 15 at tops, because I knock these things out pretty quick, and I don't want to play around with it too much. I'm going to knock out a quick design for the card for tomorrow, and it will be the card that I use for the live. It will be the one that I post tomorrow morning and notify everybody that they missed out. So, I will be passing that on. It's going to be fun. A lot of people are going to be upset about it, but hey, it is what it is. We're going to have fun with it. We are going to see how they respond. And I'm going to check this video. And I'm going to see about doing something special for the guys that showed up. You know who you are. But I thought that would be a fun way to shake things up just a little bit. Gonna go ahead and black out his eyes, because as we know, he has the black eyeballs with the red pupils. So, okay, that's not a bad start. Not a bad start at all. Alright, I'm going to draw on his chest here. And because Gambit wears this funky armor, and he's so lean, it almost lays flat. It doesn't ever, you know, he doesn't have a mass to his chest like most characters do. It's more of a, almost like a Batman chest plate type of deal. And it comes in right here off the edge, and it maps out the pecs and the rib cage and the solar plexus right up in there, and the diaphragm right up in there, so you can whop that. And that's about it. I mean, it's a very simple character. Everybody's like, he's so hard to draw. Well, matter of opinion. But just haven't figured out the pieces to the puzzle yet. Just one step at a time. So, I'm adding in a couple shadows to this jacket. I'm going to keep it very simple, because he has this thing going on with this jacket. It has this weird seam that runs around here, and I don't know where that design comes from, but I've always found it really cool. I don't know exactly where that came from, who designed it, or what. If you guys know, maybe you can tell me. I don't know. But there's this weird seam around that jacket that goes like this, and then it ribs throughout. So I don't know if they did that for an aesthetic, to make it pop a little bit, or give it some character so it didn't just lay flat, or what. Really shouldn't have put that line right off the corner of that card. But it is what it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and when I draw the card lighting up, I'll do that when I ink it, and I'll erase this and I'll put it in and draw it this way. Right now I'm just going to map out the line here, because I like to leave this raw, because I've started to go in, and when I ink this stuff, I got a new technique to where I start lining it out and leave this open, to where whenever I come in to color it, I can color it with those lines instead of inking it hard, to where we have the problem of it being blacked out or whatever, you know, being over rendered and all that. I'm trying different things as these cards come along, so you guys bear with me. We're going to see a lot of different stuff, you know. So, and no, he's not going to flip you off behind the card if you're thinking that. I actually got asked that right before I came on. You know, is that his middle finger? No, it's not. It is actually the side of his index finger. Now we'll map that out, because what's going to happen is we're going to have his index finger right back here. He's got really weird nail beds for some reason. He's got really long nail beds. But anyway, I'm going to draw out this finger here and put up the finger glove over the top knuckle. And I'll draw in that highlight right there. And then we'll go back here to the knuckles, traditional block out knuckles, just like I always do. Little diamond boxes, as my daughter calls them. And get the side of the thumb right there, which will go behind the card. Blocked off the thumbnail, put the ridge, and we go in like that. Which is convenient for me, because the shadow falls right behind that that detail line, so I'm cool. But Gonna draw on the edge of his fingers here for the edge of the gloves, and keep them very simple and open. Gonna hard line that. Now I'm gonna come back and do these ribs real quick. And it's very simple because they're just lines stacked like this. I mean, that's all it is. And a lot of people like to go in here and put triple, you know, like Mark Silvestri was really good about that. He would go in and put in that detail line, and he would do, I'll do a couple of examples. He would go in and do this. He would cut in on the bottom of each rib, he would cut in that little hodgepodge kind of rib seam right there that would pop up. Like that, just to give it a little more character and detail. Which actually looks cool now that I did it. I was afraid of over rendering this thing and working it too hard, so we didn't get a decent look. You put too many in there. Messed it up. But sorry, it's the weekend. I'm having a blast. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. If you saw me do that right then, what I'm doing is I'm mapping this out so that it sequences and it matches up so it doesn't get all goofy. At least it doesn't have to be exact, because you never know, because fabric moves in a different way. Even though it's the same seam and the same measurement, it will move different ways, so you have that luxury of playing with it a little bit and moving it around to a different position, because the fabric can move, and that's where your claim can come in from that twist, and it actually makes it look more natural. So this is a side effect. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do what people don't normally do. I'm going to draw the back of the card. I'm not going to draw, you know, the typical heart or spade that everybody likes to go with. I'm going to draw the back of the card. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw pinstripes across that thing. Freehand, as wobbly as they are, and I'm going to leave them on there. Just to show it can happen. I get questioned about this kind of thing from kids all the time, and they say, you know, well, can you freeline stuff? Can you freehand stuff? And I'm like, well, can you freehand stuff? Yes, you can freehand it. Just do it. You know, and unless you're doing this like professional for like a project, I would recommend using a ruler then, because an editor will throw it back to you and not pay you. So take that with a grain of salt, and do that with your personal projects, not with professional projects. And if you have a steady enough hand, which I've seen people do, if you have a steady enough hand, go in and do it yourself. You know, but a lot of people don't. Like, I freehand circles all the time. And the way I do that is I have a sphere technique. It's not exact, but I'll show you real quick. I do this one. What I do is I draw it across like that and give it a perspective, and then try to form that up. And I'll work it out, you know, make the edges meet. And it's fairly round. It's not clean, but it's fairly round. That's what I see in my head when I do stuff like that. So, now you know. The secret's out. Like I said, not going to dark out that coloring area. We're going to leave that open so it'll be pink. That bright power charged pink that he has whenever he charges up his hands. which is kind of ironic and weird, but being a dude. But hey, whatever. It's 2017, man. Do your thing. Pop in a shadow right there for the collar of the jacket. Another one right here. Because this bows up, you're not going to see the tip. So it's going to cut the light underneath it, and you'll see sections of it as it moves. But that is what it is. Now where the neck is, I'm going to go ahead and knock that out right there. But I'm going to be sure, like I said, leave that outline as much as I can. Because it flows right across the neck shape here. So I already blacked that out before I did that, so I'm going to leave it alone. Because now it'll have that funky pencil gray, and I don't want to do that. But this is GAMBIT. I'm going to leave this open for the time being. I'm going to hard black that, and this section of the card has a rough spot on it, so I really don't want to go too deep into that. What I'm going to do is I'll leave that open and color it in that way. And just so you guys know, I'll be blacking that out. But I'm going to leave that open because right there, like I said, this end of the card is rough, and I don't want to tear it up. So I'm going to move over to the hair and the headband real quick, and then we're going to get into that Professor X outline. And like I said, I've drawn this character like 80 times across the board. That's not a lot for me, but it's a lot for the standard. Most people don't draw a character more than 20 or 30 times in a career, unless they're actually on a book, which changes that dynamic completely. But for me, I've drawn GAMBIT, I don't know how many commissions and whatnot, and personally, like I said, I've drawn him like maybe 80, 100 times, just because I dig the character. Now, when that X-Men cartoon came out in the 90s, man, I was addicted. I remember emailing the Fox Cartoon Company, the studio, and they called themselves the Fox Cartoon Company, which was the division of Fox that did the cartoons and animation for their PR department. And it cracked me up because I remember putting in a couple of emails requesting them to put in, not knowing they'd already laid out for the entire season or two, or however long they do it in the distance. I was begging them from the first couple of episodes to please put Colossus on, because he was my favorite X-Men at the time. And when this series finally came out, they had GAMBIT on it, and I was like, okay, cool. GAMBIT works. But yeah, I remember emailing them about Colossus and asking them to put it on. I actually did that. So it's amazing what you find out when you actually start working in the trade and realize that that's not the way it works. But everybody's got those stories growing up, It's like, you really emailed Fox? But yep. I was proactive even back then on getting stuff realized and recognized and getting my favorite comic work done. Which now is actually hilarious, so I find that just stupendously funny. Let's see. Okay, cool deal. I hope you guys are digging this thing. You're gonna have to give me some likes on it and let me know if you are, because I can't see. So I got a couple on there. That's awesome. All right, so with Gambit out of the way here, I'm gonna put in that spot right there under his nose a little bit. Okay, now I'm not gonna touch it anymore. I'm gonna put that over there, and now for you guys comes the cool part, because like I said, as promised, I am going to take a couple of minutes and I'm going to draw out Professor X for tomorrow. Okay? Now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut into shape real quick. I'm going to cut this out real fast, just so we can get the gesture and the layout. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw him in his chair. Okay. Hey, look, Spock. No, kidding. Gonna cut in the torso here. Pop off that shoulder. And put in that forearm. There's the old cupcake right there. Drawing those knuckles. Drawing the back of the hand here. His hand's in the foreground, so it's going to be a little bigger. Draw the under part of the sleeve here. Draw the armrest. Drawing the slope for that. Now, and I'll put the edge of the wheel right here for you guys to see. It's not a hover chair. I'm going to put in the actual wheelchair. Okay. Now there's that. We'll draw the sidebar and put in his lap right in here. Draw that off that way for his legs. Now we're going to put in that other arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to put in those knuckles for that hand right there. Boom. Those three fingers. Side of his hand, back of his hand. Big old thumb up there. And put that index finger right to the top of his head. Okay? Now that's drawn in. We've got him shaped out here. Drawing the chest. Draw that other arm coming out this way. Let's see. There, yeah. Drawing the other edge of that chair handle, like that. Sidebar, right there. Now we're going to raise his elbow out, because there's the back of his arm, so his forearm will be right about here. Like that. And we're going to put the mental kind of sheen come off of there, where he sparks that thought out of his head kind of deal. Mark off those eyes, that nose. Push that chin back just a little bit. You said Professor X, not Jay Leno. But, sorry, I did go there. Draw that center line so we can get his face on. And the nose. I'll refine that as I actually draw the card. Center line for the eye. I know that looks reptilian in a moment, but I will draw over that. That's for my guidelines. Because see, what I see visually for you guys is I go from the point of the chin right up through the eye and back around the side. That's what gives it that three-dimensional look, because you have the center line, you have the point from the jaw to the back of the head to line it, and then you have the other center line on the other side that goes up the same eye line on my work. So we have that crest right there to give the jaw and give the mandible muscle, which lines up straight off of that. And then we have the back of the jaw back here, which lines up with the front of the ear. And then we have the back of the head, which goes right over the ridge of that. So that's where we got it. That's the layout for Professor X tomorrow. I may move that nose down a little bit, but I'll definitely have to lighten that up. But yeah, that's the layout for tomorrow. I hope you guys are cool with it. And that's where we're at. So about 5-10 minutes over the usual. I think we're okay. I hope you guys dig it. I will be slimming him down. Those are bulk gestures so that I can refine them for his suit and tie or sweater or whatever I decide to put him in. And we'll tweak on it from there. But I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Sunday. Like I said, I hope this is a nice little insight to you. And obviously we have Professor X tomorrow. And for Tuesday, you guys, because you're on right now, I'm going to give you an extra one as well. Magneto is going to be for Tuesday. Okay? Professor X Monday, Magneto on Tuesday. So keep watching, hang out, and hope you keep digging these things. Let me know. And we'll go from there. So, talk to you tomorrow.